The third speaker is a member of our group from its inception. He's a brilliant, brilliant CPA. And he is going to be running for the supervisor of the town of North Hempstead this November, not 2012. So we have an election. He and his sister are truly the American dream.
Yeah.
He will be the first Asian American to be elected to a major office on Long Island. Came from Taiwan a number of years ago, and today it is an honor for me to introduce my friend Lee to
Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
All right. Is everybody awake?
Yes.
Well, first we got really good news to share, because Tess went and talked to Jack, and they will give us an extra half hour tonight, no charge. Okay? So 3 things are always good. So I have to first, I think the first thing I have to say is it will disappoint Mr. Malpass, because I am Chinese American, and I stopped drinking Coca-Cola about a month ago. I dropped 14 pounds with that. So I'm hurting the economy over here, but I have started to eat yogurt. So maybe that'll kind of offset that, right? So I do want to thank Steve and Judy Morris. They are... I had an awesome opportunity to meet them like a year and a half ago after my last election. And they call themselves my Jewish mom and dad. But only if I win this election this year. Otherwise, I'm adopted. All right? So I'm going to try and make sure that that doesn't happen. Right? I wanted to talk tonight about local government. Right? So we've talked about what's going on in the country, what's going on in the state, and I think even Steve and I were talking the other night, and even Mr. Malpass and a lot of people that we meet don't understand the structure of local government in this state, because it's very complicated. People who just moved in, people who just moved to the suburbs don't understand. So the first question I have to ask is, how many people in here don't live in a county? Where do you live? You live in a county. Queens County.
Queens County.
Right? See? That's the first thing, because it's very confusing. You live in New York City, or you live in Queens County. New York City is made up of 5 counties, right? So, and there are 62 counties in the state of New York. Who here lives in a town? I live in a town. There are 932 towns in the state of New York. The largest town is our neighbor, Hempstead. People always get confused, Hempstead, North Hempstead, but Hempstead is the largest town in the state. There are about 756,000 people that live in the town of Hempstead. The smallest town in the state of New York is the town of Red House in Cattaraugus, New York, right? And there are 38 people that live in that town. Wow. Okay?
Look out.
Yes, look out. The town of North Hempstead, of which you are in tonight, is the 5th largest town in terms of population, at about 226,000 people. Now, within towns, we have villages, right? Barbadano is the mayor of a village. Jack was a mayor of a village. And there are 556 villages in the state, of which 128 of them are in Nassau County, and 30 of them are in the town of North Hempstead. So is that confusing enough? Yes. That's pretty confusing, right? Now, who here is from Suffolk County?
We know.
All right, Suffolk County. And who here is from Nassau? Well, congratulations if you're from Nassau, because you pay the highest property taxes of any county in the entire United States of America. And I apologize to you, to those who live in Suffolk, because you rank number 12. So you guys better catch up real soon, okay? So 2 years ago, I got into running for supervisor of the town of North Hempstead. And like Mr. Malpass is complaining, you know, that's his job now since he ran for office last time. Well, I've been hearing and listening to complaints for the last 2.5 years. And everywhere I go around town, from Port Washington to Great Neck to Lakeville to New Hyde Park, Westbury, Mineola, and my home hamlet, Albertson, all I have been hearing is complaints. And so tonight, when I really wanted to talk about the issues of the town of North Hempstead, I didn't even know where to begin. I wrote it down on a piece of paper and it turned out into like this spider web. Because there's just so many things that are going wrong in this town, okay? We talked about earlier, you heard Jack say, well, New York State doesn't have a revenue problem. Neither does the town of North Hempstead. Because we have, well, the town has raised taxes by 40% since the current supervisor took office in 2004. How would a 2% tax cap work here? Right? But spending is not a problem either, because we also have borrowed almost $300 million, because that's where the debt stands in the town of North Hempstead. So forget about revenues. We can raise revenues here, right? And we can also borrow like no tomorrow. And the policy of this town and all 7 of its council members is to vote 7-0 on most nights at the town hall meetings to increase our debt. And at every town board meeting, you will find increases in our debt. So how is that sustainable? The current town supervisor at a town board meeting last summer said, well, you know, Moody's gives us a great rating, so we can borrow. And it's cheap to borrow now, so let's keep doing it. Every time I retire debt, I borrow more. That's the policy of this town. How is that effective? How is that going to help us? How did we get into this economic crisis to begin with? What was that called? Subprime mortgages, right? So we have unlimited credit cards spending here? How is that fiscal management? How is that something that's going to help us? Because I'll tell you, what is the responsibility of a town? Does anybody here know why towns were created in the state of New York? Really, for only 2 reasons. To handle the buildings department, zoning, and highways. And this town doesn't do either of them well. But they're really good at PR campaigns, like, this is the greenest town in the state of New York and in the country. If you live in New Hyde Park, you will know this, because the town just bonded $1.5 million to build a natural gas compressor facility in the town facility in New Hyde Park. Okay, $1.5 million that everybody who lives in the town of North Hempstead is going to have to pay for.
With interest?
How much? Well, with interest. So that the 20 vehicles that are part of the North Hempstead town fleet can use the station to fuel up. I think it would take 50 years for them to even come close to recuperating that cost. But someone in this room tell me, how much does a natural gas compressor system cost in the real world?
$200,000.
$200,000. But you can get a federal grant and do it for free. So this town denied 2 private entities the permit to build on their property so that the town could do it themselves and let everyone here think that they're the greenest town in the country. So they are going green by putting all of us in the red. Somebody said that to me, and I love that. I really like that phrase. Like that? Yeah. Like that. So You know, and then we keep going deeper, and there's so many issues, and I'm going to keep trying to attack it. Somebody said, we need to help small businesses, right? You know, in this town, that's not a problem. Because there are no small businesses. Because if you're a small business and you try to get a permit from our buildings department, you won't get one. So we don't have that issue here again, because there are no small businesses. Good luck. But we have a problem
Got a lot of problems.
if you're a resident. You know, they just came out with a statistic. In Nassau County, out of every 100 households, there are 15 permits issued in order to rebuild your home, to improve it. It's the lowest in the state. In the town of North Hempstead, that's 0. Because they don't issue permits here. It takes over a year to get a permit. And not just the time. It takes another $5,000 to $10,000 for you to even begin to get that permit. And this is a buildings department that in the last 5 years have had 10 people arrested for corruption and bribery. Okay? 3 people went to jail, including the building commissioner. The deputy commissioner is still on trial 4 years later. Where is he?
He lives out of state.
He lives out of state. How is this good government? Is this what we really want in a town? I mean, so we're focusing on the country, I know, and this country has major problems. And so does our state. But I really want you to focus on the local level too. Because they are the ones who control most of our services on a day-to-day basis. And they actually tax us quite a little bit in money. But what do they give back? Who's watching them? Who's watching them? So if you read Newsday, if everybody's read Newsday in the last day or so, the town of North Hempstead, which there is a special district called Clinton G. Martin Park. It's a pool in UI Park. The comptroller of the county wanted to audit them because residents in that area, in that special district, said that they think there's misappropriation of funds. So what does the town do? Does the town open the books and say, no, listen, we don't have a problem. Come and take a look at it. I'm very comfortable with our finances.
Get a lawyer.
No. They said, oh, it's a political attack in an election year, and it's all about politics, and we're going to sue. We're going to take this to court. We're going to take this to court. Nowhere in there was it ever said that all of the finances are fine. And that really scares me. It's all about jurisdiction. And I'll tell you something, the Controller's Office definitely has jurisdiction. I can't wait till they open the books. Because when they open the books there, they're going to have to go one district to the next to the next. Because this town, when it likes to say, oh, we have kept, the finances intact. We give ourselves an A+ on our mailings, that we have managed our money well. This is what this town does. And I want you to look at the budget. If you live in a town, you can go into their website, which is another thing. But you can find the budget, and you will see this. And I want you, no matter what town you live in, I want you to take a look. Go to the budgets and look. They tax us a general tax levy. They then manage a bajillion special districts under them. They charge these special, and we pay for these special districts separately. They then charge these special districts a management fee. Okay? So if you're in business, I'm an accountant. Those of us who are accountants understand management fees are usually set. They usually handle accounting services or advertising or whatever. And usually, let's say it's 4%, 2%, 3%. It's identifiable. It's stated. There's a contract. None of these special districts have any contracts that state the management fee. Some of the districts pay 9%, some pay 6%, some pay 4%, some pay 5%. Why? It's whoever has money. So that the town can take money from those districts and roll it back in to their budget. So then they can come out and say to you, oh, your taxes are so low. It's just a couple $100s a year. It's nothing. Oh, it's thousands of dollars. Because they're basically, it's like a Ponzi scheme. They're stealing from all the other entities. And that's not good government. And so When Tom Rice, my campaign manager, first met me last year, he goes, during my campaign, he goes, first question he asked me was, Lee who? Who is this guy? I see your signs all over the place, it's Lee who? Right? I'm an accountant. That's what I've done all my life. I was an auditor for the city of New York, and I'm not part of the pension system. So I got out so that I could pay for a 401k. So and that was when I first learned about the reality of politics and something that I don't like about politics. We had an audit finding I audited the major leases that the city of New York managed. Okay, under the Giuliani administration, they privatized a lot of the leases, right? In one of the properties, we had a $500,000 finding that this landlord overcharged the city of New York. And we were thrilled. We said, listen, we caught this guy. We're going to get this money back. It's good for the citizens of New York, right? They called a state senator to come to a meeting with our commissioner. And the next day, that audit disappeared. And that's where I learned how dirty politics can be. And I'm not for that type of politics. And that's the type of character and person that I was raised to be. And so I don't know, and Judy, I tell Judy something, I don't want to be a politician. I don't want to be like one of the guys out there. I want to go in and I want to fix this town. I want to do what's right for the people in this town. I don't want fiascos like the Tully Pool construction, which was a $14 million pool construction in the town pool facility, right? $14 million. They hired an architect from Suffolk County to do this job, who then turned the plans over to the town's expediter, Sidney Bound, who then charged the town additional money for those plans by turning it over in 2 weeks. And the contractor found 66 material change orders on those plans before they had to start construction.
But Lee, but they did contribute about $20,000 to John King.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I failed to mention that. I'm sorry, yeah. You're right. I forgot about that. Makes it okay, right? And then, not only that, this is our town, who denies permits to everyone in this room and everyone who lives in this town. And guess what? On their plans, they failed to have and include 150 fire sprinklers that are part of Nassau County Fire Code. So that cost us another $750,000. And then this pool, when it was open, I don't even want to say why it was open. Tom, can you say it? Because I don't want to say it. Why was the town pool open ahead of schedule?
So that John Canaan's son could have his birthday party.
When the contractor
said,
told him, you can't open it because this pool is leaking up to 2,000 gallons of water a day into the dump that it's built on.
80,000.
80,000. So, over the time. Which goes back into your drinking water. So how does this town work? Why am I fighting this fight? I have a decent job, even though sometimes it's 18 hours a day. But why do I want to be supervisor?
Clean house.
Because that is the only way I believe you can change government, is to clean house and put in people that think like us, that will not be afraid to enact the changes that we need. And get it done. No more excuses. I don't, and I understand sometimes there's red tape with this or that, but I don't believe that. You work through it. That's why you're put in a leadership position. You're not there to make new excuses. You are there to do what's right to make government better, and that's to make it more like private industry. All right, we'll get some questions.
How about people that are mad at me because I didn't call them? What did I call them?
Excuse me, could you tell us what portion of the town of North Hempstead is unincorporated into villages?
Okay, this is very hard because it's not a geographical figure. the major areas of town that are unincorporated are like Albertson, parts of Roslyn, Searingtown, Port Washington, South, Ojai Park, North, Garden City Park, Carl Place, parts of Westbury. Yes, and they're, so it's kind of like, it's interesting. You go in and out because there are 30 villages.
Yes, but I just wanted to know the portion geographically, the portion of the town of North Hempstead that is not incorporated into individual villages.
Yeah.
And that should be, somebody should know that.
It's not, no, but geographically, it's not a geographical map, yeah. I would say about half.
Okay.
About half, yeah.
It is,
Yeah, about half.
Hi, Lee. It sounds like the Tweed Courthouse has been transplanted on the Landome Road. When are we going to have somebody looking at these books?
Oh, you know what? The Tweed Courthouse, it's so interesting because, let me just tell you about the family tree that exists in the town of North Hempstead, okay? Because this article in Newsday was very interesting that the supervisor made it a political thing, right? And he said that the machine is coming after me. I'll tell you where the machine lies. The leader of the Democratic Town Party is the attorney to the BZA, which controls all of the zoning in town. You think there's a conflict there? The former leader was the chief of staff of Craig Johnson. His wife was the director of cats for the town. The current supervisor of highways, commissioner of highways, his wife is the deputy commissioner of the Department of Public Works. The wife of the legislator in Newcastle, which votes 94% for the Democrats, who then gave them a $20 million plus community center when they have no money to fix the Schumacher House in Ojai Park, when they have no money to give, when they don't have $300,000 to give to the senior center in Carl Place to fix their roof. $20+ million to the people who vote for them unequivocally. His wife just got a job in the receiver's office. $6 million of patronage. That's how I'm going to cut. That's gone. If you're not qualified for the position, you're not working under me in town.
Patronage, government, and shop.
Can you tell a little bit about what's going on in Port Washington with the housing?
Sure. Harbor Homes, another great example of the pristine functions of our town. In 2010, our supervisor, John Kamen, changed at a town board meeting when nobody went because it was in the middle of June. He changed Town Zoning Code 70. Okay? What's Town Code 70? I don't know. Does anybody here know? So you can read the town agenda. So if you read that, would you say, let me go to the town board meeting and just check this out? No. Because there's 50 items on there and there's no descriptions. So you say, okay, fine. So a year later, all of a sudden, the town of North Hempstead Housing Authority decided that they were going to build a 4-story structure on a park in Harbor Homes down in Port Washington. Was there any notification to the Port Washington residents? No. Was there notice to the people who lived next to that park? No. But they wanted to build the structure because they already laid the groundwork by changing the zoning. See, this is so important. Zoning is very important in a town because whatever's changed in one area, it applies to everywhere. Okay? So then, we got on board because some of the residents down there said, Lee, come down and take a look, see what's going on here. So we did. With a lot of residents down in Port Washington, we took a look and we opened up the facts and we started to create a stir because not only did they pass the zoning code, they already have the plans made. The plans were made by a Houston contractor, Houston, Texas-based contractor. Oh my God, did they give $20,000 to John Kamen over the last 2 years? Why would a Houston-based contractor give somebody in North Hempstead, New York, $20,000?
What's the return on that 20,000?
Oh, that's a good question. Because when we asked them for the financials from the Housing Authority for this project, there were none.
But who did you ask?
Who did I ask at the Housing Authority? Oh, the president of the Housing Authority. His last name starts with a C and ends with an O. Cuomo? Oh, his cousin, right. How does this work? I don't get it. It's funny, but it's not funny. You know, because this is the type of government, like I said, this is the type of government that we have to change, you know.
Simple question, would you consider your way of televising the town?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Not only just televising it, but also having town hall meetings that match the time of people in town. You know, we have this program where you could take a taxi anywhere, right? How about taking taxis to town hall so that you can listen to what's going on? How about having town board agendas that actually explain what legislation you're trying to pass? How about talking to residents before you even start that process and not afterwards? Wow. It's a new concept, I know. Michelle.
And you can't speak until everything on the agenda is over. So sometimes if we have,
Yes.
sometimes if we have a problem,
You can't speak sometimes
it's 11 o'clock
until
at
after.
night.
That's right.
And he likes that.
Yes, because he doesn't want anybody to know. But why not have open mic sessions at the beginning of the
That's
town
what we
hall?
need.
Absolutely. And who's creating this town board agenda anyways? I'll tell you something, it's very important. The supervisor is up for election this year, including 3 council seats. And you gotta help us change it all. Because there's every single legislature. When you go to the town board meetings, it's 7-0, 7-0, 7-0, 7-0. And there's a council person in New Hyde Park that once said at a debate, our supervisor is terrific. I do whatever he tells me because he's wonderful. None of our council people are doing the jobs. Vote them out.
But these are
I tell you, I don't know why he's afraid. I don't know why they're afraid of us. We live in a district where it's 60 to 65% Democrat and only 35 to 40% Republican. And we got 46.5% of the vote last time because we went out into the communities to talk to people and to listen to their issues. And that's what we're running on. It's not my ideology or my agenda. It's about what the community wants, because that's what town hall is for, okay? What are they doing this year? They're buying everybody off, right? Let me give money here. Let me spend money there. Where are they getting this money? I have no idea, except they're bonding it, right? So we're going to pay it down the road so that they can maintain the fiefdom that they have over here, so that all of the Democrats that were, I guess, out of jobs because Swazi lost can come to the town.
I can tell you
But that's really what it is. So please, spread the word. Tell your neighbors, friends, anybody who lives in the town of North Hempstead. This is an off-year election. It's about who comes out to vote. And if we all come out in this room, get 10 more, I lost by 5 votes in ED. That's it. Get your neighbors out, make those phone calls, and we can take this town back.